52 years since the death of Dr. King and nearly 4 years after America's first black president, we ask, who are the black leaders of today and what are the main issues facing black America?
Challenges of the past.
This is raw tyranny under the guise of maintaining law and order.
Teach us what we need for the future.
But it was for one reason, and that was because of the color of his skin.
The church has become more secular, and I think the black church in particular, as we have prospered, we have taken our eyes off of activism.
Pastor Lee Jenkins grew up believing black churches held a leadership role during the civil rights movement. It was the church that created leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and others of the movement.
We need that same type of sacrifice today.
Jenkins has made that sacrifice. He left a successful career as an investment advisor to answer a higher calling, becoming lead pastor at Eagles Nest Church in Alpharetta.
I just wanted to make more of an impact, again, on families and on people.
And race relations.
I don't feel like we're in a very good place. It just looks a little bit different, but there's still a lot of work to be done.
A few years ago, Jenkins jumped into that work with a new idea called the conversation movement.
That I would experience being called a spick to my face by a little old white lady I'd never seen before.
It's a joint effort between his church, predominantly black, and Roswell community, predominantly white.
So what we have tried to do in these small groups is to personalize all of our experiences. And then that leads to racial unity and understanding.
Every generation has to be a part of the freedom struggle, because if not, we lose ground.
Losing ground is not an option for Dr. Bernice King. As CEO of the King Center, she continues to pursue her father's quest for equality. She believes one of today's biggest issues is the racial wealth gap.
If there's some kind of disparity or some deficiency that a person has, wealth can put them in a position where they can overcome it.
King says conquering the divide and other racial challenges of our time doesn't require just one prominent leader like her dad.
I think it's less about the actual person and more about the collective as we move forward.
Democracy failed Georgia.
Since 2018, Stacey Abrams has become a political darling among Democrats. During her race for governor of Georgia, she came closer to winning than any other Democrat since 1966. Abrams never conceded to Brian Kemp. Instead, her voice got louder, pointing to voter suppression as one of the main reasons she lost.
During the 1960s, it was evidenced by Jim Crow laws that physically prevented you from voting. Billy clubs, hoses, dogs. But what it looks like today are administrative rules.
She created the voting rights advocacy group Fair Fight Action to fix the problem.
There's a danger inherent in anyone who denies democracy to an eligible citizen. Because when we break the machinery of democracy, we don't just break it for those we don't like, we break it for everyone.
Abrams has been named a leader for the Democratic Party, even mentioned as a possible VP running mate for whoever becomes the Democratic presidential nominee.
And as a black woman, as a woman of color, as a person of color, and as a woman, I think it is absolutely my responsibility to not shrink away from it.
Abrams has come to recognize the importance of her visibility.
There's a mural of my face on a building, and it's near where my nieces go to daycare. Knowing that my 4-year-old niece looks up every day and doesn't just see my face, but sees her potential and believes that it's possible, and that's what Black history is about.
For Abrams, her place in Black history is still being written. With certainty, she believes one day she will be president of the United States.
So we are part of a nation that has made it its mission to help lift everyone up, and we cannot be left behind.